It just looked like we're a terrible, terrible football team.
We absolutely deserve to be where we are.
It feels like we've then taken another 2 steps back.
Right, Spurs fans, we need somehow to find a way through this storm. And the first thing we need to be doing is giving ourselves some moral support, some emotional support. Let's get down to it. Welcome to the Crowing Cockerel podcast. Hello, Tom. Hello, Mark. I'm Graham. How are you feeling? How are we going to get through this? How are we going to somehow get through the next, 10 games? Because the Fulham on Sunday, I think we all sort of hoped to see something to cling on to. And it was a mess, wasn't it, for most part?
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, it was awful, and I didn't even get to see the whole game. So I've only been able to sort of catch up on the highlights, of which there aren't very many, and obviously all of the aftermath in the news and online. And I was thinking, the last few weeks, months even, it's been a bit like a car crash. Like, it's horrific and it's horrible to look at, but you can't look away because
Isn't it great?
because
Isn't it great how we've managed to break Igor Tudor in 1 week?
yeah,
He's absolutely broken down already. All that
Yeah.
positivity that he came in with, and now it's like everything is rubbish. We are rubbish at defending, attacking, running around. We are a
Personality.
complete waste of which is all great, isn't it? If he was just on a podcast talking
Yeah.
about Spurs. Unfortunately, he's the guy that we are now completely reliant on getting us out of this mess somehow.
I do worry that he didn't watch too many videos of us before he accepted the job. And it's because we've been saying, haven't we, like the general media perception is still, oh, we don't deserve to be down here. We're too good to be down. We'll get out of it. Whereas if you've actually been watching us week by week, we absolutely deserve to be where we are. And
oh yeah,
We're the worst team in the league. We are the worst team in the league. If I've watched
we are.
West Ham, I've watched Wolves, even Burnley. Look at the fight that they put in over the weekend.
Against Brentford.
It is just. I think Sunday was probably the point where I just felt the most down I felt about Spurs for such a long time, because it was just a mess. It just looked like we're a terrible, terrible football team. And I know
yeah.
there's loads of injuries. I know there's loads of injuries. I know this isn't anywhere near what any coach out of the squad on paper would want to put out every week. But we were a mess.
look, I hate the phrase, hate it, emotional roller coaster. I think it's massively overused, but there was such frustration and anger and toxicity towards the end of Thomas Frank's time. So everything was sort of really heightened. And you then sort of got that, that slither of hope. I think we all knew that, that first game of home against Arsenal was probably going to be a bit of a stretch to get anything out of. But there was that slither of hope that here comes the coach. He's being positive. We're at home against our biggest rivals. Who knows? Who knows what new dawn we might then see? And then we go, well, there is no dawn. It's still the middle of the night. Thanks very much for that. And then straight into the Fulham game. And it feels like we've then taken another 2 steps back. And I can't help but agree, Graham, is now the anger's gone and that little bit of expectation which lifted us has gone. It is just a sense of gloom and sort of a feeling that, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting to a point where I don't want to watch the games. I just want to hear somewhere on the wind that we've picked up a draw against Palace, and then maybe I'll start to re-engage, because watching us sort of crumble like this is hard.
The problem now, though, isn't it, is that I think there's this really kind of unsettling realization that what we've got is all we've got now. There is nothing else. In January, we were hoping and praying something would happen in the transfer market. And then we were hoping and praying that Thomas Frank would get sacked. And then a new manager would come in, new manager bounce. Well, that's now been and gone. And guess what? We're in exactly the same position. And there are no more cards to play. that is it, folks. What you see is what we have got. And that is really scary.
Yeah, and I think what really didn't help on Sunday is the first goal. It wasn't well defended, but the problem I've got now is it just feels the whole world is having a pile on, and there's been stuff that's happened today as well. But
Yeah.
it's part of being a football fan that you get bantered for when your team's rubbish. You expect it, don't you? And I think it's much worse now because of social media that, you know, you're seeing 100 things thrown at you when you're in a bad enough mood anyway. But to then have a decision that comparatively to the week before seems the same decision, but going in the completely opposite way.
Be the same.
I mean, Rob Green on Sky was absolutely adamant it was completely different. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the only difference I can see is that a push in the back when someone's in the air, so that will always move them, is not a foul. But hands on the back when somebody's got 2 feet on the ground will make their legs come up from under them and make them flip forward. So it's a foul. And then, of course, what happened in the week is that the PGML ref thing was on TV, wasn't it? So the ref
Yeah.
that gave the decision for Arsenal went on there and said, 2 hands on the back, always a foul. You don't want to blame referee decisions, do you? You just
Yeah.
don't.
I
You
hate
don't
it.
want to go down that route.
I hate it because like I'm not on many social media platforms. I'm not on X or Blue Sky or Insta or TikTok or anything like that. So I don't see the majority of it. And the reason that I
You're
don't really
lucky.
want, but the reason I don't go on it is because I don't want to read comments of the common internet idiot, right? And not just about Spurs, but about anything, because it always goes straight to, we lost, but the referee was awful, or this kind of paranoia and conspiracy theory. And I hate all of that. I absolutely hate it. But as you say, you look at stuff like that and you just think, God. And then obviously you had the Premier League itself then piling on a Vicario,
Yeah.
and they've had to retract it and make an apology. I'm
Have they made
sorry,
an
but
apology? Because I haven't seen. I
yeah,
know that they've retracted it. Have
they
they actually
retracted it,
apologised?
and well, I don't know whether it's been an official apology to the club, but they've certainly kind of taken the post down and retracted it and everything. But it just, as you say, it fuels that paranoia when you have the league that is supposed to be kind of the upstanding, neutrality. That is the competition that we're in, meant to represent all 20 clubs, and they're having a pile on about our goalkeeper. I mean, yes, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen on a football pitch, that free kick. But you do not expect an organisation like the Premier League to do that, do
If
you?
so, if somebody on X had done it,
Yeah,
if Mark Goldbridge had done it, you could understand it. Even if Bet365 had done it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, can we, I'm not trying to get us a sponsor, but some of the Paddy Power ones are absolute golden. But,
Sorry,
but
that's who
you
that's who
don't
I mean.
expect
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Paddy,
You don't
yeah.
expect it from the
Yeah.
Premier League.
So absolutely. So, but it's again, who is standing up for the club? And we all laughed at Nottingham Forest last season, didn't we, when they brought in Plattenberg as a consultant because
Yeah.
they felt they were getting so many poor decisions. And we all said this is ridiculous, it's ridiculous. And we all laughed at Liverpool, who wanted questions in Parliament and all this sort of stuff because the Diaz goal was disallowed. But Spurs never do it, do they? They never go, this is ridiculous. It's going to be one of those things. If you're a poor team, you are not going to be creating lots of chances. You're not going to be at the other end. So you're not going to get decisions in their box and you're going to get decisions against you in your own. That's part of being a poor team.
Especially when you're inviting as much pressure as we're currently doing. And look, to be fair to Tudor, he might get a slap on the wrist because I think he definitely said that he thought we were cheated or someone was a cheat.
Well, he said the push was
So
cheating.
Jimenez,
The
wasn't
push
it?
was
Yeah.
cheating, which at
Yeah.
the end of the day, if a foul is cheating, isn't it? I'm hoping he gets away with it because he wasn't saying the referee was cheating. He was
No.
saying the push was aimed at cheating. He was trying to, cheat the position, which which is.
I will say though, as much as I completely agree about that first goal, Fulham could have had 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
Let's
We
face
didn't
it.
deserve anything out of the game.
Yeah. Ultimately, I don't think it affected the game.
Yeah.
or the result. It is just that what we invest our heart and soul. Football is a weird thing, isn't it? Because it's like, is there anything else in the world that you have absolute loyalty for? They don't even know you exist, and doesn't matter how bad that product is, you spend hours of your life every single day consuming it without ever thinking actually something else would be better than this. And then not only that, you've then got your mates who are, on a rival product, basically bantering you constantly
It's like
for
a drug
choosing.
habit. It's like
Yeah,
a drug
it's
habit, but
like
we've been given a really bad batch.
it's like, yeah,
Well,
and it's
and
like,
you're not allowed to change.
no.
Yeah. Can I have a bit of yours? Nope.
There's absolutely nothing else in life. I know that we might be different to a lot of other people that follow football, but generally our partners aren't football fans and things like that. So we're sort of isolated a little bit, and we're fully grown adults as well, and we have responsibilities that mean that the years of being a grumpy idiot just because Spurs have lost again, you sort of have to get through it. You
Can I
can't.
can I
You can't.
can I paint
Be,
you can I paint you a scenario? Because I think that whole grumpy idiot thing, and not only then do you feel bad about being a grumpy, bad about the result and how things are going, but then you feel bad about being a grumpy idiot and guilty for bringing a funk into the household. But you know what? It's even worse when you're not watching the game. So this happened to me with the Fulham game. I couldn't watch the game. We were actually out and about, but I'm there just checking my phone, watching the misery, and I'm bringing the mood. If you're sat in front of the game,
Yeah.
people know what you're doing. You set aside time, and there's the result, and you switch it off. And yeah, you might be moody, but at least you've introduced the idea that football is going to play a part in your day. When I'm there, sort of sneaking a look at the score and huffing and puffing when my good lady's trying to have a decent conversation, and you feel like a complete twit. But this is the burden that we face. I don't know how you sort of get around that other than deciding to make a genuine break and going, right, at this point I'm just not going to engage. I'm going to try and give myself like a one game detox, or I'm going to have a weekend amnesty off the football and off the socials. But it's
But how are you
hard.
going to do that? It's impossible.
it's impossible.
You
Yeah.
Because
can't.
at the end of the
It's
day,
not
you
possible.
also have a deep-seated care, don't you? It's in the pit of your stomach. It's like an addiction. That's how I sort of describe it.
Yeah, it
If I, if
is.
I, so on Thursday, I can't go to the game because I'm at the O2 for something else. So
Well, hang on. Have you finally got us that Crowing Cockerel podcast live?
Live.
no, I've been invited on someone else's time. I'm leaving the band.
Alistair Gold has finally called.
Yeah,
He
that's right.
realizes he needs a wingman.
No, so I'm not going to be there, but it's probably the biggest game. The Europa League
Yeah.
final, we all thought was absolutely massive. But let's face it, if we're dropping out of the Premier League, and there's a
Yeah.
real risk of that, then
I said last week Fulham was the biggest game. Until we win one, every game now is the biggest game because we have
until we've
we
won,
have to get
until
something.
we
It's the
win
cliche,
three
and it's
games,
10 cup finals, 10 cup finals.
until we
Yeah.
win three games, and I know what will happen. I'll be sitting there and I'll be thinking I'm going to be fully invested in this,
No
but
chance.
my brain will, and the pit of my stomach, be going, "Oh, it's 7 minutes past 8.
Yeah.
I scored."
Might have let one in.
Yeah,
More likely.
yeah, which is more likely, yeah. And then you start, and of course, eventually it's going to crack, and I'm going to be like looking at my phone, and then it would be, oh, whatever it is, and it's just going to ruin the evening. It's just going to ruin the evening. Isn't it? I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And I know it is, and I'm annoyed at myself because I already know what it's going to be like. But what do I do? I'm part of me, yesterday was thinking, I've got to go. We're in real problems. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan. I've got to, it's going to make a difference if I go. If I don't go, it's not going to be. And then you're like, my God, but they've screwed me over for
Yeah.
basically, 30 years of my life.
Yeah.
So why should I?
It is this thing, though, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting because I completely agree with what you said in terms of Like, it's such a massive part of our lives, and it's such a huge disappointment. Like, these last 2 years, obviously you've got the Europa League that's kind of interspersed between that, but if you just look at the Premier League, the last 2 seasons have been awful, and it's such a massive disappointment every time you don't win. But then, like you say, it's then you almost have to try and sweep that under the carpet because in the real world, no one really cares, even though you care so much about it. And it's just that thing of constantly having to just sort of just sweep that away and try not to linger, even though, like, because I'm the same after the game. I don't want to be. I mean, I'm not the life and soul of any party anyway, right? Let's face it. But if we've lost after a game, I don't want to be around anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. The second half of the Fulham game was on,
You
and
know, Mark, I think you should do a podcast.
I know. Well, but this is what I said, didn't I? So we're recording this on the Monday evening, and we put the message around saying, "Oh, are we going to record Sunday night?" I said, "I can't, boys. I can't. There's no way that I can talk about it on Sunday night. I just can't do it. I need to be able to have that little bit of time just to decompress and go again." But you think, like, it cannot be good for you to be feeling like that on a weekly basis. Like I say, for 2 years, basically, we've been so bad. So more often than not, and I can't remember exactly what the stats are now, how many games we've lost over these past 2 years. It cannot be good for your kind of your mental health to go through that on a weekly basis like
Yeah.
we've had to.
And that's us. I don't know where the players' heads are at the
Yeah.
minute. That I think there is one massive thing, and to be fair, Mark, I think you called this out when Frank went, saying, "Look, we just need a cheerleader," because I think the confidence. After the game, I went and I thought I'm going to try and find something that sort of backs this point up. Um, and with regards to the confidence being absolutely at rock bottom. And actually, I think it was you, Graham, that said a few weeks back that you judge a good team or a team that's playing, reasonably well based on sort of its passing accuracy. A good team will be sort of in the 80, 85, up to 90. Elite teams are over 90% pass accuracy all the time. We only had 5 players against Fulham that got in the 80s, and the rest of the team, even the subs that came on, couldn't even sort of muster into the 70s. That's a team. That's a bunch of players that kind of feel like they're at rock bottom. And to be honest, again, some of the stuff that's come out this week, there was a piece by the Athletic which I saw on YouTube where they've had players come up to them with regards to sort of being anonymous. I wanted to make some sort of comment saying that Frank just didn't command any sort of respect, and
Yeah.
they felt like he was a small time manager and they just switched off. They were turning up late. They weren't putting in the effort. And now Tudor's come in. He's got a massive job to try and install any confidence in these players and
Yeah.
any sense that they owe us anything.
There's
So,
two parts to that, though, isn't there? Because yeah, I read that as well. Like, so listened to that as well, and they were saying as well that they would have run through walls for Ange because he was
yeah,
so inspirational,
yeah.
and that's great. But you always have to look at that as well and say, but some of that's got to come from within. Like, it cannot just be on the manager, right? Because it sounds like you're at school and getting away with, because the supply teacher's in, so you're just going to go and sit at the back and chew gum.
And it is so difficult to turn it around, isn't it? It seems so
Yeah,
much fun, and it's easy
yeah,
at the moment, but it's massively unprofessional because you should be able to acknowledge that if you don't turn up to work every day, absolutely trying to be on it and doing the best that you can, and you do that for 9 months or 6 months or whatever it was, how can you expect then to be, and massive speculation, but if you're saying that players were turning up to training late, not listening, that would suggest that their intensity in training and their effort in training was low, and we're getting all these injuries.
but this is what Tudor's been saying, hasn't he? He said the fitness level is way off. He said, like, the bad habits.
You can see that, can't they? They can't get
Yeah,
near each other. They're
yeah.
late to everything.
And I do wonder, the first couple of games Tudor's had, I think we've all had raised eyebrows about the people that aren't on the pitch. The selection that he's made, there's been 2 or 3 positions where we're going, well, what is he actually trying to do there? And part of me wonders, actually, is this because he is choosing the players that he is seeing putting the effort in, or that he knows have done the hard yards during training? And is this just going to have to be a period where he's going to have to wheedle out those ones that are not, stepping
Yeah,
up
you
and
say that,
giving everything?
but you look at who was on the bench. So he played Gallagher right wing, didn't he? Kept Sarr on the
I
bench.
thought it was a very strange team selection, I've got to
Yeah.
say. It was strange.
And
I
there
mean,
was so
because
many square pegs in
Sar's
round.
the one that stands out for me. Like,
Yeah.
if you want someone who, and again, you don't see training, but I find it very hard to believe that Pap Sarr is among that group that is going to slack off and start sulking around. He seems to be someone who is super enthusiastic, that is going to get about, give you energy up and down that pitch. But we were saying that when Thomas Frank was here, he didn't play Sarr either. And it's the same with what we said last week with Tell. So maybe there is something going on in training, but I find it amazing how Sarr is not getting a regular spot in
When
the
you
team.
need energy, when we need
Yeah,
somebody to run around,
yeah.
and could reasonably suggest that Basuma would be the one that would be surprising to be the really on it guy in training. Let's be honest,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
given his history when he's been at the club. But again, we've gone out and bought in January a left-sided fullback with a left foot. And okay, he's only 19, but you're playing a
So's Archie
19-year-old.
Gray.
Yeah, and he's a right back at best, but
Yeah,
really he's a midfielder, isn't he?
yeah.
And yes, he's got more Premier League experience, but just having a left foot in that team.
There did seem to be a lot of square pegs in round holes, which really concerned, because I agree. To me, I think you just need to try and keep it simple. Play players in their proper positions. So I'm with you. I would have had Sousa playing all day long at left back. Obviously, Van de Ven, Danso clearly wasn't fit to start, but hopefully he will be. Gallagher at right midfield clearly didn't work. The most bizarre one for me was playing Solanke as almost like a number 10. That was bizarre to me, because Colomwani has never won a long ball challenge in his life, and
Oh,
looked weak. He looked weak and feeble.
Bassey just had a fantastic first 70 minutes, didn't he? It was.
But
He
no, but
just
he
thought he
didn't
was
though,
having
did
a
he?
lovely.
But I
No,
honestly,
but
I have a.
he was enjoying it. That's what I meant.
Of course he was.
Yeah,
Of course
he
he
just
was.
thought he was the best player on earth because
Bassey
he
is
was.
such a limited player. He really is. And yet he was like prime Maldini, wasn't he, against Colomwani? And it just showed, like, when Richie came on, and Richie, you don't look at Richie and think, oh yeah, he's a big, powerful guy. Bassey didn't get a touch as soon as Richie came on. He won every single duel.
You look at Vicario. I'm going to start with Vicario because of what's happened today. Vicario, when he came in, following Lurius going, he had a massive reputation for being fantastic at saving one-on-ones. He is very, very, and he did it again at Fulham.
Yeah,
He's
he did it
fantastic.
again. Unbelievable
Reflex
save.
saves and things like that. He was a goalkeeper that you play when you play a high press, high line. He is not a goalkeeper to dominate his box and survive cross after cross after cross. Terrible at it. It's a waste of space. He also wasn't the profile of a goalkeeper that is fantastic with his feet. But we seem now to want to rely on him being the distributor in that back line. Then you can move up to Van de Ven. Van de Ven, absolutely fantastic defender in a high line on a one-on-one basis. Where he struggles is, again, his distribution under pressure and defending deep. You could argue that he was a problem with the first goal as well. He goes too deep. He's timing on his headers. He's terrible in the air for a sort of guy that's his size.
Yeah, that is surprising actually, because he's a big
So
unit.
they were fantastic buys for the way that Ange wanted to play. And then, Xavi I think he will turn out to be, if we ever get there, a fantastic number 10, proper number 10.
100%. 100%.
But he is not in any way, shape, or form an 8 or a 6. He shouldn't be anywhere near
winger.
our half. Yeah, or a left winger or anything like that. anything that is like it's like what we did with Son. We ruined Son almost because we started asking him to play as a wide midfielder. He's not a wide midfielder. He's a wide attacker. It's you can probably hear the frustration in my voice because it's like it. The club has made this situation. It's not an accident, and you pile everything else on it. But we've bought the wrong players for the. We've changed every time the way that we're going to play. We flip flop between this type of coach to that type of coach. Oh, we've had a nice man manager. Now we're going to have someone that's going to go in there and shout at them. There's no. It's like they've got two ideas, but the problem
But
is
that,
you're
but that was
signing
the whole
players on
point.
5 year contracts.
That was the whole point of Thomas Frank, though, wasn't it? That was the big thing. It's like, right, we recognise that we've been doing that. We're bringing Thomas Frank in. This is for the long term. We're all aligned. This is it, and this is why they spent so long before they sacked him, because that was the whole thing. It's like, right, we are not going to do this anymore. We're going long term, and then of
The squad
course,
didn't fit the way he wants to play.
But yeah, this is what frustrates me the most, right? Because at the end of the day, these managers come into your club, and and Ange was the biggest component of it. This is the way we play, mate. The manager has an idea of that a formation or a style, an approach. So this is the way we're going to do things. These arrogant idiots who are only sort of caretakers of our clubs for a short period of time can never see past their own vision. They can never see past the fact that that player does not go there. That player is consistently injured, so you've got to rest him. That player needs an arm around the shoulder. It's like, well, this is the way I do things, and it frustrates the hell out of me because we're watching this as football fans, thinking, well, why don't you put him? Why don't you put the left-footed player on the left side of the pitch? And why don't you put the number 10 player in the number 10 position? And okay, so you play 4-4-2, but actually because of the injuries that we've got and the size of our squad, it would be better if we actually play three at the back because we've actually got three half decent sets of defense. But no, they won't do it because it's not the way they play. And Frank was beholden to his static, horrible approach, and it got him the sack. I still think we're trying to figure out what Tudor's going to do, but it'll be another situation where the manager will do what he wants to do. Whatever happens in the summer happens in the summer, and then we have to restart again, buying players for the other manager's vision.
And so I know what you're saying, Tom, but I kind of disagree in, like, if I put myself in a manager's shoes, I'm the manager. I do what I do in the manner that I do it. So I'm going to come to a new club and I'm going to carry on doing that because that is, to all intents and purposes, why you've hired me. You haven't hired me to go and play a completely different way to the way that I normally manage it. So the problem is the level above. And I think we've talked about this many times this season, is that it is the responsibility of whoever is appointing the manager to make sure they bring in someone who is going to play, in inverted commas, the Tottenham way. If you're constantly chopping and changing, which is what we've done for essentially the last 6-7 years now, and then you've never got time to catch that squad up. So you're now where we are now with a mishmash of, the last 3 or 4 regimes. I don't think you're going to get a style from Igor Tudor.
No, his job is to win 3 games.
His job is to win 3 games.
3 games.
By hook or by crook, it doesn't matter. So I don't think we should focus on that.
I hope that against Palace, we see a formation and a team selection which makes pragmatic sense, which reflects the situation we are in, chooses the best players that we can out of the available ones we've got from the squad, so that we can actually try and sort of win a game of football. Because having a style, having an approach, having a sort of a vision of how you want to do things isn't going to that's not going to work for us at the moment because we haven't got the players or the depth to cope.
As we keep getting told on all our social channels, every time we do our prediction, why would you ever think that Spurs are going to win a game? You're laughable because they're the worst team in the league, which I can completely understand and we take on the chin. But end of the day, it's like, surely this is the game where you look at and you think, it's the first of a small amount of games where you think we really can get something out of it,
Yeah.
and we sort
It
of
was the
have
list I
to.
gave last week, wasn't it? Is that those home 6-pointers? We've got Palace, we've got Forest, we've got Leeds, all
Yeah,
at home.
yeah.
I mean, and Brighton as well, who are also been struggling, though they won at the weekend. But no, it's scary times. I mean, if we lose at home to Palace, it's the same. It's the same conversation as when we played West Ham, when you sort of think we've got to win that, got to win it, but based on nothing at all, because we haven't looked like winning a game this year. Let's be honest.
Look, we are due some luck. I mean, for goodness sake, it has to start going for us at some point.
But also got to make your luck at the right end of the pitch.
You
It's no
have.
good.
Absolutely.
It's no good getting a penalty decision that should have been a penalty for Crystal Palace for us, and then still losing 2-0, is it?
Yeah.
You know, we've got to be getting a decision at their end, so
Yeah,
we can
you
capitalise
just
on it.
hope that if we can win on Thursday, you hope that just sparks something and gives us a bit of confidence. And then obviously, I think we're
International break, players start coming back.
Champions League
I
is
think
back as well.
Kuda's coming back. He will make a big difference.
Yeah,
I think all of us. Tell me if I'm wrong, but all of us couldn't give a flying monkeys about the Champions League at the moment.
No, not fussed.
Yeah,
Not fussed.
that's.
I'd bin it
He-
off. I would bin it off. I'd
Absolutely.
play as many of the
kids,
second
play
string
the kids.
Yeah, we're allowed to take like
You can take as
400
many kids
children.
as you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, and so it's the same, isn't it? So you've got Palace. The next league game is Liverpool. I'd be binning that off as well, because you've got the Champions League games around that, and then you've got Forest. Like, to me,
That's
Palace
huge.
and Forest are the two games we have to focus on. The rest, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about those 3 games.
And it's a sad situation. All we can hope is over the next 10 weeks or so that somehow we get more, or West Ham don't get any more than 4 points more than us, and we stay in the league. So at least there's an opportunity for things to change.
I
Because it has
truly
to.
think that we are not going to need as many points as we think we will. I really, truly do believe that we will not need 4 wins, but it would be nice to not have to worry about that, though, wouldn't it? So, Thursday evening, Palace at home. What do you think we're going to do then, chaps? Who wants to start off?
I want to make this really clear. Anybody listening doesn't think that I'm a delusional idiot, because I accept that the way we are at the moment, we are the worst team in the league, and something dramatic has got to change. But the flip side of this is that we, in a predictions game, where I am trying to claw my way up the league. Okay, so I've got to be a little bit out there with my predictions in the hope that it gets more points than the other 2 guys. So now I've set that up. I am going to say that we are going to win. And I am going to say that we are going to win 3-0.
Wow.
What a delusional idiot.
I am also going to say that Richarlison is going to score at least 1 goal.
Okay, well, yeah. Sorry about that, because my prediction is actually going to be, I think we're going to win 2-0 and Richarlison to score. That was what I was going for.
You're a delusional idiot as well, then.
Listen, if I don't predict a win, then that's all I've got, right? That's all I've got right now.
This is where we're at, isn't it?
It
This
is.
where
It's
we're at. Please,
between now and Thursday.
If you've stumbled upon us and you're a Palace fan, please don't think that we're sitting here being disrespectful to Crystal Palace in any way. But we are at the point where, for our own mental health, we just have to be delusional and deny that this is happening, because that's where we're at.
So let me just get this right. Graham, you're 3-0 Richarlison scoring. Mark, you're 2-0 Richarlison scoring. So, I mean, we can see where this is going. I don't think we'll win, but if I don't do this, I'm going to feel like the biggest odd one out in the room. And to be fair, I'm so far ahead, it doesn't matter. So screw it. 1-0 Richarlison. All bases covered.
We're manifesting a win, but also damn, because now I can't.
I was going to go 2-2 Conor Gallagher, but no, I have been
Come
pulled
on,
along.
no tactical voting.
I am getting on the win train, and I'm going 1-0 Richarlison.
Good.
Cool.
Right. So we're all
Right.
ready for the news on Thursday morning that Richarlison's pulled his hammy then, right?
Yeah.
All right. Nicely done. Well, let's keep the madness flowing. I think it's probably time for a Tom's teaser. Play that jingle.
Tom's teaser.
Right. You know how I normally do a Tom's teaser and it's sort of related to the game that's just gone or to the game that's coming? I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to sort of focus on what was gone and what is coming. I just had to sort of separate myself away from it. And I thought, well, what can really cheer us up? What really cheers you up about well, just life in general? Birthdays. Birthdays cheer you up. And today's the 2nd of March. And whose birthday is it today? You'd never believe it. Pochettino's birthday today.
Hey.
So happy birthday, Maurizio Pochettino.
Happy
Also
birthday.
Toby Alderweireld, but he's not part of the quiz. Sorry, Tobes. So anyway, what I'm going to do, this quiz has 2 parts. I'm going to ask you 10 questions. You're going to write down your answers. And then part 2, well, I'll leave that to when we finish part 1. So here we go. 10 questions on Pochettino's career. Number 1. In Pochettino's first game, where we beat West Ham, we actually did that with 10 men. Who was the player that got sent off? Question 2. Poch's career as a manager, he was at PSG, but who did he manage after PSG? Question 3. Where did he start his managerial career? What was his first club? Question 4. While playing for Argentina, who did Poch foul to award a penalty in the 2002 World Cup? Question 5. Who did he replace at PSG as manager? Question number 6. On the final day of the 2016-17 season, Harry Kane scored a hat-trick to become the top scorer that year. But against which club? Question 7. What is Pochettino's actual last name? Question 8. Who came bottom of our Champions League group in the 2018-19 season? The season we got to the final. Who came bottom of our group in the Champions League? Question 9. Poch brought on Eriksen in the Champions League as a late sub and he scored the winner against this Italian team. What was the team? And Pochettino is the second Argentine coach we've had. Who was the first?
Well, I reckon I got a good solid 1 out of 10 there.
Okay, so what I will say is if you smash part 1, then it might be that you're going to run away and win this because the bonus is a little bit cheeky. But what I'm going to get you to do is, regardless of what your answer is, I'm going to give you my answer. And I need you to make sure you write down what my answer is. If that's not the answer you've got, and it's very important you write down my answer. Okay, so question 1. Graham, what do you have?
A pure guess. Couldn't think at all. Wanyama. Didn't even know if he was signed by later or was even in that first team, to be honest.
We don't need to chat about it. Mark? Mark, what was your answer?
I went Adebayor.
It was Norton. My
Wow.
answer is Norton, Kyle Norton. So Norton is the answer. 2. Who did he manage after PSG? Graham?
Chelsea?
Mark?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Real Madrid.
Incorrect. Chelsea. Well done, Graham. 3. Where did he start his managerial career? Graham?
Deportivo La Coruña.
Mark?
Espanyol.
Correct,
I
Mark.
couldn't remember it.
Number 4. Who did Poch foul in the 2002 World Cup to give away a penalty? Graham?
Owen.
Yeah, I said Owen.
Owen. Correct. Well done. Question number 5. Graham. Who did he replace at PSG?
Deschamps.
Nope. Mark?
Laurent Blanc.
It was Tuchel. Thomas
Really?
Tuchel. So the answer is Tuchel for that one. Graham, Kane's hat-trick on the final day. Who's it against?
Hull City?
Correct.
Yeah, I said Hull.
Correct. Well done, boys. That was excellent. Okay, if either of you get this one, this is going to be amazing. What is his actual last name, Graham?
Pochettino.
Mark.
I went Smith.
So I want to give that to you. His actual last name is Trossero. 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 Trossero.
Okay.
Number
So many
8.
questions, but okay.
Question 8. Who finished bottom of our Champions League group in 2018-19? Graham.
Slavia Prague.
Mark.
I'm in Karabag.
It was PSV. PSV. Question number 9. Who did Ericsson score in the Champions League after Poch brought him on as a sub, Graham?
Inter.
Correct. Mark.
I went AC Milan.
Oh, Graham, you've taken the lead. And last question. Who was the Argentine coach before Pochettino? Graham.
Aussie
Correct.
Adidas.
Mark.
Aussie Adidas, yeah.
Well done. So, Graham, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This makes it very interesting because now here's part 2. Okay. So, just to clarify, my answers are Norton, Chelsea, Espanyol, Owen, Tuchel, Hull, Trossero, PSV, Inter, Aussie Ardiles. Part 2 is this. Taking the first letter from my answers, what word can you make from the 10 letters given? First to answer could decide how this goes.
Graham.
Yes, Graham.
Pochettino.
It's Pochettino! He's done it! Graham has won! And by a considerable margin, as in 2 points. Well done, Graham. Oh, I'm so glad you got that. Because you put the effort in round 1 and it would have been absolutely horrible if Mark had pipped you. But well done. So
I want a point.
you have won a point. You are now, well, you've gone from 7 to 8 points. So it's Graham 8, Mark 15. You're clawing it back. You are clawing it back.
Tom's teaser.
Right, I'm absolutely buzzing now. I see. I feel so much better now after all of that.
There you go.
Wait, know what? I feel better that you feel better.
Yeah.
And
And-
I don't care.
So let's do my positive Spurs.
Yeah.
Now everybody, haven't you heard? Here's a guy that can polish a turd. When you think you've got nothing to give, he'll stay positive. Positive Spurs.
So my positive Spurs this week is really ridiculously corny, okay? But it has enabled us to bring ourselves together in dark times from a football point of view to just have a chat, really. And I hope that there's people out there that it doesn't matter if they're feeling down or whatever, but there's people to talk to. There's stuff that you can laugh about in this situation. It's not that serious in the grand scheme of life. When none of us are suggesting that there's more difficult things to deal with than a club that doesn't give a flying what's it about you as a person not doing very well. But at the end of the day, it does bring people together. That's what football does, doesn't it? And
It does.
even in times of doom and gloom, we can all have a laugh.
Yeah. And I do have a little addition to that. That was a nice emotional positive Spurs. I can give you some hard data-driven positivity as well, because that's what I like.
And everyone's different. Some people like that.
Yeah, exactly. So believe it or not, Tottenham Hotspur are actually in a better position now than we were at the start of the weekend, because we are still 4 points away from West Ham and there's only 30 points to play for now.
Very true. And it was good to see West Ham and Nottingham Forest doing their bit for our mental health.
Absolutely.
I was worried at one point over the weekend when Forest got back into their game. Yeah, look, I take it as a massive bonus that I don't have to suffer this alone. And if there's anybody listening out there, feel free to sort of put in the comments if there's anything that that you think you can share with the rest of the miserable community that we are right now that you think might actually chirp us up.
So there we go. Thursday is the next one. Massive, massive game. Let's just hope that Igor can find something, get a tune out of these boys, and let's get 3 points, get a bit of confidence, and then I think we'll all sleep a little better at night, that's for sure. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.